This summer, Instacart presents famous summer flavors coming to your front door. Or pool. Or hotel.
Your grocery delivery has arrived, sir.
That was faster than room service.
No violins in the lobby.
Oh, seriously? Anyway, sit back, relax, and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Starring your favorite snacks, drinks, and more. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Rated H for hungry audiences. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Hello there, and once again, welcome back to another exciting episode of This Song Is Yours. I'm your host, Simon Fink, and today we've got a fantastic episode lined up for you. Our guest today is none other than the Australian pop sensation, Cxloe. It's a momentous day because Chloe's long-awaited debut album, Shiny New Thing, is finally out. This pop luminary has been a driving force in the Australian music scene for years, and now she's getting the recognition that she truly deserves. In today's episode, we're diving deep with Cxloe to talk about her journey into songwriting and how she got her start. We'll explore the challenges that she faced, including the decision to move to America to pursue a career as a songwriter due to the limitations within the Australian music scene. We'll also discuss what the Aussie pop scene could be doing better to support its talented artists. And of course, we'll break down some of the standout tracks on this brilliant new record, Shiny New Thing. We want to give a big shout out and thank you to Rhiannon for her invaluable help in making this episode happen. And don't forget, for all the details on Cxloe and more information about our podcast, be sure to check out today's show notes. So let's get into it. Here is our conversation with Cxloe. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Cxloe. Hello, Cxloe. How are you going?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time this week. I'm so super excited for you as there's a brand new collection of songs coming out. There's a brand new debut album coming from yourself. How are you feeling? Because this is a very momentous occasion. Congrats.
It is. Thank you so much. I wanted to put out an album for so long. So I feel so happy that it's finally here. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on it though, just because it has been a long time coming. So I'm trying not to be it's finally the debut album. It's just a body of work, songs that I'm really proud of and I really love. And I hope that everyone, enjoys it as much as I enjoyed making it.
Of course. Well, firstly, I think that they will. It's a fantastic album. So firstly, congratulations on that. But I think you're somewhat right in terms of saying, one, it has been a long time coming for yourself, and I'm sure that there's been a multitude of reasons for that. But it's more than anything, it's a moment for you to take stock of what you've achieved and kind of be able to look at the work that you've done and, as you said, that you're proud of. So yeah, I think it's a really exciting moment. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it as of yet. Shiny New Thing is the record. Is there something that I guess you're going to do to celebrate? As mentioned, we don't want to put too much pressure on, so maybe it's just a little personal thing, but is there something you're going to do to celebrate the album coming out this week?
Oh, there's a couple things. I'm going to do some release party, very small, intimate, where I'll just, play a couple songs, answer some questions just with some fans and stuff like that. And then honestly, I'll probably just throw the phone away and go down to the beach with my dog. I can't tell you, I've just been glued to this thing the past couple months and it's doing my head in. It's just, I just really can't wait for it to be out. And the way I'll celebrate is by just being okay, this isn't mine anymore. The album, it's yours now. And I'm just going to kind of check out for a little bit, I think, go and look up. And just be with my partner and my dog.
Which I think it's totally fair. We've been speaking to a few artists lately who have been kind of releasing big projects, and the thing is, it might not be as commonly known, but for yourself in the run-up, you're okaying artwork. I imagine that there's just thousands of emails in that inbox of yours at the moment. that it's this thing that it's not just writing songs and then that's kind of where they sit, that there's so much work in the lead up and prep to that. So I imagine a digital detox is probably well earned for yourself to be able to enjoy the beach and your dog.
Yeah, digital detox for sure. And I think you're so right. Like I love being independent, but it does come with being like more hands-on, which is also my choice. But, it's you're in the trenches, which is fun, but also you're right. It's just like a lot of, especially like I was just on tour and I was trying to like manage being on tour, but then also like trying to finish up everything for the album. And I was like, I think I underestimated like how difficult that would be. So I'm definitely keen for a detox.
Well, I think there's also, and you kind of mentioned it there, like the fact that you are releasing this album independently, you're an independent artist, which, it does have obviously a number of pros to it in terms of the freedom and what that brings. But as you've said, the work that kind of comes with it sometimes as well can be overwhelming. I'm curious for yourself because this is the debut album. Again, not putting pressure on, but for you, what made it the right time? You've released singles in the past, you've had EPs. Was there kind of a moment where it clicked where you thought, this is the project?
I wish I could say that was the story, but I'm just going to be honest, it wasn't really. I mean, like I wanted to put out an album for so long, but because of so many other external factors like COVID, like moving to LA, like changing teams, getting a new label, like it was all of those, oh my God, moving parts. Sorry, have to use ever since I turned 30, I use those words like more than I should. But there are so many like external factors. I wish I could be like, I woke up and then I was like, I think I've got it. I think I've got the album. When really it's just not like that, at least for me. So it was more so when I had a team around me that I felt so supported by. I am with an indie label and a distribution company who I love and who support me. So it was really once I got all of those, the foundation where I could stand solid, that I was like, okay, now I'm ready to put out all of these songs that I've been hoarding for the past couple of years, and songs that didn't even make it on the album that I want to put on the next one. So it was more so building the team first before that led me to the decision of, okay, now I'm ready.
Of course. Well, again, having that kind of, I guess, both the push and pull of being an indie artist, it has allowed you to build up a collection of songs and kind of like what a collection of songs as well. This is some of, and not being hyperbolic simply because we're chatting, like this is some of the best kind of like alt pop that I've heard, I think, in the last 12 months.
Wow, that's very nice of you. Thank you. Getting hot. Getting my hair. That is really nice. That is really nice of you to say.
It's a thing that I think you can tell, especially when there is someone who, and I want to get into your history in a little bit as well, but like doing the short dot pointed version of like, you've always been like a pop songwriter, you do work hard, you've taken that so seriously to the point to move away from Australia due to the, I guess the pop industry here, which I want to touch on later. But it is like a very strong collection of pop songs. I know that for yourself, you wrote a lot of these. I know that you've worked with a lot of different songwriters across some of the songs on this record. I think, who do we have? The Futuristics?
The Futuristics are not on this record. They did 12 Steps.
I might have looked at the wrong songwriting credits for these. Ross Golan or Justin Tranter on this record?
They're not on this record, but I have worked with them before. I think they're listed in like my like bio of who I've worked with. But some producers that I've worked with that I've like always wanted to work with have been on like my dream list. A Stint. So Stint did Shining Thing, and Yusi, he did Cheating on Myself. So there's been lots of collaborators that I've worked with that I feel a bit out of my depth with, but it's been really cool to kind of be like, wow, we ticked that off. It was kind of, it was very cool.
Out of curiosity, when you say out of your depth, what do you mean?
Oh, I just feel like I do not belong in that room. I don't know, I don't feel like I deserve to be there, but I also fully back myself, and I'm like, no, you do. But then I don't know, I think I just owe so much to my collaborators. Like one in particular, Eric Lever, I write a lot of my songs with. Like literally so many of these songs wouldn't exist without him being that vessel, and the person who kind of like listens to me and then helps me, form these songs in such a beautiful poetic way. So I don't know, I just feel like, especially when I go through the credits of people who I'm in these sessions with, I'm like, oh God, like this is hectic. But yeah, that's kind of what I mean, I guess.
I feel like you have earned your seat at that table, to be honest, though. Like, you have. And I do apologise, I might have gotten the credits wrong in terms of what's credited to who and where. But you've obviously you've obviously kind of worked with a number of people due to the talent that you have and the songwriting skills and craft that you kind of build and bring to these sessions. So I think I can imagine and I personally very much independent podcaster with some of the people we speak to. I get an element of like imposter syndrome or whatever it may be, but I think for yourself that looking at your credentials that there is no doubt that you should be in those rooms with those people.
Thank you. I think it's also like LA also makes you feel a little small, which I don't mind because I always want to be the smallest person in the room because I want to learn and I want to grow as much as possible. But yeah, definitely moving here, I'm like, whoa, like it's humbled me for sure.
In terms of those sessions with songwriters, what is it that you kind of look for? Because credentials are all good and well in terms of some of those songwriters, but then when you get in the room, it doesn't work and it doesn't click.
The head. You hit the nail on the head, and I'm not going to name names, but I have done a couple of sessions where I'm like, this should equal a hit, and it was awful. I was awful. Like it was just not a good combo. So I think that's why like now, honestly, I would say over the past like 5 years, I don't even. I really listen to like my gut in terms of who I think I'm going to get along with and personality-wise. And like I also love working through like referral from like a friend or someone who I trust, because like it's like hanging out with a friend for like 10 hours. So if I don't want to hang out with them like at a coffee shop, like I don't think I'll want to like spill my heart out to them. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't equal that. And so many of my songs I've written with people who like, it was just like it was like, oh, this person's like, on the come up or they were wanting to like get in, and I've listened to like some of their demos and I'm like, this is sick. Like, so yeah, that's definitely something I've learned. That's such a good point. Like it doesn't always equal a great song.
It's super interesting, I find as well, because yeah, as you kind of pointed out, there's sometimes where on paper it just makes so much sense and there's just no either chemistry or it just doesn't click. And I think it's really fascinating because of the art of songwriting. It's just sometimes that magic is there and sometimes it's not. And with some of these songs, obviously these ones have worked quite well because these songs are stunning. For you, with the sonics on these songs, I'm very curious because obviously songwriting is one part of the beast, the production and the like oral elements as well are different. This sonically is such I almost want to use the word like visceral record because there's elements of this that just kind of like if you're and I suggest anyone listening to this podcast, please go listen to the album with some good headphones. Like so many sonic elements of this cut through, like the bass line on Shapeshifter, chef kiss. For you, I guess how much of that sonic part is you as well in terms of the production side of it? Like are you kind of like, no, how hands-on are you with the production, I guess, is where I'm going with this.
Production is my favourite part. Production is my like all-time favourite part. And I think I realised that when I was working on Heavy, my first EP with Andrew Wells. We were working like quite closely and I was like, oh my gosh, this excites me more than any part. I think what you said, like you were saying, it's very visceral. Like when I hear production that I love or that like slaps me in the face, I immediately think of like the live show and how it's going to translate, because I want it to be immersive, and I want it to be such a big part of, I want it to create like a world. And so I don't ever want it to be passive in any way. Like I want it to play such a big role. So yeah, I'm very hands-on. I always come in with like reference tracks and with a clear direction of where I want to go, which is a good and a bad thing. Like I wish I could be a little bit more free and easygoing, but I'm not. But I don't know. I think that's kind of, the direction I like to take. But yeah, production's up there with me. It's always the last thing that I'm going back and forth on and back and forth on and back and forth on.
I feel like sometimes as well and thank you very much for giving me that context, because I feel like it adds to this next question in terms of, I feel like you can tell when an artist is more involved with their production because it's more forward thinking, or it's not just with no discrediting a number of the people on the radio. They're doing a fantastic job of whatever they're doing, but I feel like sometimes if you've got a producer who's just making the same kind of 4/4 pop song.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas hearing the first single, Shapeshifter, that cut through, it audibly cuts through, which I think you can tell that there's someone behind the scenes, whether it's the artist, but someone who knows what they're trying to do in terms of, as you said, like have that element of the live show involved in that, have all these other parts acknowledged in it as well.
Yeah, I definitely want it to be like something that you can take and like bring to life, and it be really obvious. I don't know. I get so much joy from whenever I listen to like a new album or something, I'll immediately just be listening to the production. I don't know, it just grabs me. It grabs me first, but it's also really fun to then take those live parts and then strip them down and then make a live show around it. So take the stems and then kind of like pull it apart and then build into like a whole new world. So yeah,
100%. I would love to ask, and if you'll indulge me, about my favorite track on the record. I really loved Bad Taste.
Oh my God. Okay, what? Okay, you are the third person in 2 days. I've been doing interviews for the album. You're the third person that said it was their favorite song, and now I'm like, why didn't I make it a single? But is it too late? I want to turn this around. Why do you like Bad Taste?
Okay. Very quickly.
And I will answer.
Very quickly, just to address one part. Always time for it to be a single. Like, I know it's not the kind of example to use, but Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift is only now, like, years afterwards. It was delayed harmonies in Bad Taste. It was the element of, I wanted to say initially organic instrumentation mixed with electronic instrumentation. And then as I listened to it a few times, because again, I think the reason why it was my favorite, I kept going back to it. I'm not even sure if it is organic instrumentation, but it's a digital organic instrumentation, if that makes sense. And it was the blend of all of those that I just found, I just kind of kept coming back to it on my headphones, being like, it is a very enjoyable listen. So that was why it was my favorite.
Wow, okay, that's really cool. I'm very happy to hear that. Wait, what was your question to me about it again? I forgot.
It was more so around the inspiration or what inspired that track. But now, if you'll allow me to.
Yeah, no, of course. A Charlie XCX song inspired that track. I forgot which one it is, but it's very head voicey. But I wanted it to kind of be like kind of eerie in a way, like when it goes up into that top register and it kind of sits there, and it's kind of, and also talking about like my bad taste and how I keep making the same wrong decisions, but also the production's so minimal, and I love that because a lot of my stuff is very maximalist. So having a song that it kind of like sits in a different like sonic space. And you're right. I was talking to a friend. That was the other person. I was talking to a friend yesterday, Coda Banks, because I sent her the album, and she was like, "Bad Taste is my favorite. You know, the organicness." And I'm interested because you just said that too. But there aren't any live instruments in it. It is electronic, but it's just the timbre of it is quite like warm, I guess. So I don't know. There's so many different elements to that song that I love and that are very different to anything else. that I've done before, actually. So, that's so cool. I'm really happy to hear you like that song.
Thank you for sharing, like, I guess the story behind it, but also especially after you have been bugged about it numerous times this week. So I appreciate you.
No, now I'm about to call my team after. I'm like, guys, we got to change the name of the album. Anyway.
I would love, if you'll allow me to, Chloe, to ask you about your introduction to songwriting and kind of what got you involved in writing music in the first place.
I think I always felt very deeply, to the point where it was I felt like it was very abnormal. I've my family uses the other side of their brain. They're pharmacists, and so they're very logical, theoretical about things. And I was just had too many. I just felt too much, which obviously a lot of artists and people who love music feel that way in their core as well. And so then writing was really the only way for me to kind of get through it, make sense of it, cope, all of those things. Not that I wasn't heard within my family. I was just felt very different, and I couldn't converse the way they did. Things just were always too overwhelming. That shouldn't have been, well, not that shouldn't have been, but to me they were. So writing was just a way to kind of put down those feelings and work through them in my own time and way.
Were you musically trained at that similar time? Did it start as a journaling thing and then into playing an instrument or singing?
Yeah, it started as a journaling thing, and then because I started out acting and doing musicals, and I got an acting scholarship to this performing arts school. And then I started journaling and kind of just writing some really shitty songs, and then kind of just shifted my whole trajectory, and then changed over to a music course, and then it kind of went from there.
That's awesome. I had no idea about the kind of musical theatre history aspect of that. So very curious. Out of curiosity, and we don't have to harp on it for too long, is there a favourite musical somewhere in the...
I did Little Shop of Horrors. That was really fun.
Okay, classic.
That was classic. That was really fun. That was probably one of my faves.
that is a good one. If you're going to pick one.
I don't have a theatre voice. I have such a weak voice. To be able to sing and belt on stage, I was not born for that.
Well, look, it's kind of worked out because we've got Chloe, the pop songwriter, pop superstar, instead of what is the character's name? Audrey. Audrey. Yes, thank you.
Audrey, yeah, can't forget.
I know you kind of mentioned it before, but you have spent quite a few years in LA now. I know that obviously, and please correct me if any of this is wrong, from my understanding from an outsider's perspective, that move was based on the Australian music scene kind of not being, I guess not having the outlets and not having the opportunities for pop songwriters. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, it was multi-faceted for sure. The outlet, the access, just the sheer amount of people. I think it's I'm realizing more and more as I get older how small Australia is. Not only Australia, then Sydney, and then the music scene. It is very small, and I felt most of that world was sitting in more the alt rock indie world, and I was just wanting to just do straight pop, just right down the middle. And I think LA has always been known for being the pop meta. And so, I think just wanting to really be amongst it. And instead of doing one, session a week with a pop producer or whatever, I could work every day during the week with, heaps of different pop writers. But it was that. And then also COVID really just put a halt on everything. And so I was okay, I can't be doing these trips back and forth anymore. I just need to just go. I need to go, just rip the Band-Aid off and make up for lost time, because everyone lost so much time. Multiple reasons. Yeah.
Have you found that that now that is, well, it kind of, from an outsider's perspective, again, it does seem like that is the case, that you have found success there as a songwriter, you know, in these sessions, in these rooms with people. I guess, have you, I don't want to ask, is it like, have you found that the payoff has been what you thought it would be? But I guess, is it now that you've made that move, sorry, let me rethink of how I want to rephrase this.
Has it been like kind of fruitful or like worth it, or like, I don't know, what do you?
Yes, yeah, fruitful is probably like a very good word. I know that there have been changes on the Australian music scene, I think even in the last, I want to say 18 months, in terms of pop acts becoming a lot like a lot more to the front. But for yourself, has it been fruitful, I guess?
Yeah, in LA, yeah, for sure. Like in Australia, I mean, it was really hard, and it still is really hard getting on like festival lineups, for a pop act. But I love it. But I've definitely seen a shift over the past 18 months as well, for sure, in the way that we are embracing pop, which is so cool. I'm talking about in the Australian music industry, but it's definitely, I think, was the right thing for me at the time to come over here, and I think it has been really fruitful for me. I have a new team over here, which has just made things so much easier, because dealing with time zones and stuff like that is so tricky, and I'm able to like jump on opportunities now, say like, because you know the amount of times I would come here for a couple of weeks and then go back to Australia, and then someone would be like, oh, are you around? I'd be like, no, sorry, I've already left. So I couldn't take up opportunities that just like popped up. So yeah, it's been really good for that. Like even, you know, Peach came over here a couple months ago and had a tour, and she was like, do you want to be a support? And I was like, yes, I would love to. Like, how cool is that? You know, like 2 Aussies, and just being here as well for any of those opportunities. But also all of my collaborators are here, so it just really made sense. But it is cool to see Australia embracing pop more, for sure. I mean, I've been very lucky. You know, Triple J has always been very supportive of me and my music, which is sick, which is really, really cool. Like for so long I've been like, why? Like how? Like they, you know, I remember when I show you out, I was like, oh God, there's no chance. And they were the first ones to jump on it. So yeah, it is really cool. I owe so much of my career to Australia.
I think that they're definitely, and I would say, and like this is not to, again, be hyperbolic because I'm simply chatting to you. I think that there would be an element of that it's a number of the acts that you see coming through now, even like, I even want to say like Peach, you've got like Charlie, Nick Ward, and a number of like really cool forward-thinking pop acts, I would say able to do what they're doing because of someone like yourself who's kind of persevered in that kind of pop space and not, you've not
it's
wavered
Friday.
on.
It's okay.
Yeah, true, it's Friday. You've not wavered on the image.
I have Kylie Minogue to thank for that, for sure. You know, there are so many incredible musicians, you know, and Sia, like, who have paved the way. But I mean, there are definitely times where I've been like, damn, I do need to waver on this. I'm going too here, and I need to be a little bit off to the left here. But to be honest, that is where I love, and I think that's where I sit, like on that like dark pop kind of world. But I don't know. I think strength in numbers, you know?
Yep.
Strength in numbers, and it's fun. Like, it's just really fun. And so it's nice to see that side of things. Like, it doesn't have to be so serious.
I would 100% agree with that. I think that there's an element of people have looked down on fun for too long, and I think that it's why you're not enjoying it. Yeah.
For so long. It's lame. And it's a very dirty word for such a long time.
Yes. It's not a guilty pleasure. It's just a pleasure to listen to.
I know. Everyone's like, what's your guilty pleasure? And I'll be like, why is it guilty? Why does it have to be guilty? Like I'll name like a Carly Rae Jepsen song, and I'm like, wait, but she's a incredible, credible artist. So I don't know. Yeah, that is an interesting conversation that's always evolving.
I feel like I could talk for a very long time, but I'm not going to waste the time that we have left.
Let's come back to that at another time. We'll grab a coffee.
Have a follow-up. You're more than welcome back anytime. Yeah. Chloe, I would quickly love to wrap things up today. We usually ask, I guess, what they're currently listening to. Is there something at the moment that's on high rotation for yourself?
Chapel Roan. Mm-hmm. Chapel Roan is... I am so interested and in awe of her. Mm. She is so amazing. Do you know much of her stuff?
Yes and no. I've listened to the album.
She's slowly making her way into like the mainstream world and to people's feeds. And I think she's just, she played at Coachella and that really like blew it up for her. She put out a song called Good Luck Babe, which I think is one of the most perfectly well-written pop songs in such a long time. It's kind of like Cyndi Lauper, Kate Bush vibe. So yeah, I'm very, very into her right now.
A fantastic choice. I'm still working out. I think sometimes when they're a new artist and you're trying to work out what song it is that's going to be your gateway into their kind of project, yes. That's what I'm still trying to work out. But the album itself is really good. So
I felt the same. And then I heard Good Luck Babe, and then I was like, oh, and then I heard Casual, and then I was like, oh, and then I heard Phenomenon, and then I was like, oh, here we are. I arrived.
I might have to follow that kind of that trilogy of those three songs, and I'll let you know how we go. But Chloe, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast today. I do appreciate it. Congratulations on Shiny New Thing. It is out this week when the podcast airs. But thank you again for a chat.
No, thank you for having me.
Your brand deserves better than one-size-fits-all branded clothing. Lands' End Outfitters creates apparel your team will want to wear, backed by above-and-beyond expertise. Go to business.landsend.com/pod20 and use code POD20 for 20% off your first product.